everybody, welcome back to the Bideo. It's the 19th of October on 2017. That's the year this year, I think. I've got
So,
I got Steve and Dan, and I think Nick will be showing up a little later. I think he got stuck at work, according to Steve. And we're gonna talk about some games and maybe some spooky games, because it is the month of the spook. But how you guys been doing?
Been doing all right.
yeah, I've been doing pretty good. This is not good podcast material, but I had a pretty uneventful 2 weeks. I don't think a whole lot really happened. I didn't play as many games as I thought I did, but we will go into the ones that I did play. Otherwise, life is good. What have you been up to, Noah?
I've been playing games, believe it or not. I was nervous because you promised all the listeners that I would have a lot of games played. But it turns out I did play a decent chunk. Just not a lot of time put into them. What about you, Dan? What's going on in Dan World?
I have like 2 games that I played this week. It's really exciting.
Nice.
Yeah, and just getting ready for my birthday party next week. So,
Woo!
that's happening.
Dan birthday party, woo!
It's gonna be wild. Got some friends coming in from out of town. Getting crazy.
Sweet. So, let's just get right into it, considering we're all really boring people.
Sure
Dan, what did you play?
The primary game that I've been playing is East 8. I'm trying to finish that up. I'm very, very close. I'm in like the final dungeon, and I've just been kind of slowly working my way through that as the week goes on here, and I'll probably have it finished by the end of the weekend. And then it's just a matter of, do I want to go back and try and do as many of the trophies as I can, because most of them are just like complete all the things, max out all the skills, collect everything, stuff like that. So it's not too bad.
What's your history with East trophies, Dan?
My history is that the last one I need to find, I think, one search point, and I'll have a platinum, and I cannot find it for the life of me. I've scoured the entire map 10 times, at least, and I have not found whatever it is that I'm missing. So it's either A, people online lied, and you actually have to collect all the items from each of the gathered points, or B, there's just one that was never marked on somebody's map, the maps that I looked at. So someday I'll go back and get that one. This one, on the other hand, each area of the map has a list like, you've collected 7 out of 7 treasure chests and 10 out of 10 gather points. And you've revealed 100% of the map. So it's a lot easier to do that. The challenge with this one, from what I'm reading online, is that if you're playing on Nightmare mode, the hardest difficulty, the game will randomly decide to switch to normal mode. And this is confirmed by multiple people having it happen to them. So I'll have to make many a save to make sure I don't fall victim to that. Because the one is just play through the whole game on Nightmare. So that would be not great if it did that to me.
What a bummer that it'll just switch you down like that.
Yeah. And I found out another bug with it where the high-end foods that give you like boosted XP and increased regen and stuff, all of them have mistranslations. Every single one of them. So I had to look up what each one of them actually did. Because when you eat the food, it gives you a buff. And then you can tell what item it is, but I didn't want to like sit there and look up every single one of them. So, or make one and eat it. So I just wanted to know which one the XP food was. So I went and looked those up. So that was interesting, finding that out. And frustrating, because I was sitting there wondering why I was getting a whole lot of health regen instead of boosted XP.
I see.
Yeah. And then I've played Cuphead. That fun game. I haven't beat it yet. I've got I'm on Dice Head or whatever his name is. That fight is rough.
The
The gauntlet
prior to the end. Okay.
Yeah.
So isn't the gauntlet in Cuphead awesome? The boss gauntlet that every game has. Isn't it cool in that game?
Mm-hmm. Except like none of those bosses. Well, from what I've fought, none of them are the ones that like I fought before. They're just all new bosses.
Yeah, that's like one of the best parts.
Yeah, that's true. It is pretty good, but at the same time, it's like, okay, you got 3 health. Have fun getting through that whole thing. And if you suck at jumping on the die, you're just gonna have to fight 12 things to get to the end.
Yeah, but it's okay. Maybe I shouldn't be insulting, but I felt like it was not that hard to hit the number that you wanted.
I was being impatient with it. That's all.
Classic Dan.
I know.
I know.
I got podcast spoilers quick. We're about to have a Nick.
Oh shit.
Let's bring him in.
Spoilers.
And deleted.
Yeah, and so that's why I'm the best at Baldur's Gate and at Shadowrun.
You do have a box for Shadowrun.
Who's that guy?
Hey, everybody.
Nice of you to finally join us.
Oh, thank you. I feel so welcome.
We've been marathon podcasting for 3.5 hours or something like that. We have talked about, I think, almost every game.
It's just going down the list.
Yep.
Everything.
Just when a Moby Games pulled up the list of all video games and started scrolling down. We're like, all right, 1001 Spikes. What do you guys think of that one?
It's pretty good.
Pretty good
my
game.
opinion.
Guy looks like he's from Spelunky, maybe. Okay. I can't think of another game that starts with the number 1, but I'm sure they're out there.
Ooh, 10 million.
10 million. What do you think of that game? JK, we already talked about it on this marathon podcast, so your opinions don't rate. Boo. No, I'm just kidding. Been like 10 minutes.
Dan was talking.
I sure was. Yeah, Cuphead. So Noah and Steve, maybe you can confirm this for me, but Charge Shot is OP.
Charge Shot is pretty good.
Yeah.
I spent most of my game, the weapon layout that I used was Charge Shot and the Homing Shot on my alt fire.
Mm-hmm.
Because you would do Charging Shot most of the time, and it was just way stronger. Like the DPS is so much higher on Charging Shot than it is on anything else. And then during certain types of patterns where you don't have any choice and have to just kind of be avoiding, you can just be spamming the Homing Shot and hope you do a little bit of damage during that point.
Yeah, that's true. My combo of choice is the Spread Shot and the Charge Shot.
Spread Shot was my go-to until it was replaced by Charge Shot, but Spread Shot is also very strong.
It the train car boss, the whole thing, I used the Spread Shot and didn't have any trouble.
Oh, that was easily the hardest boss for me. It took me so long.
I watched Steve do that one quite a few times.
Like a
I think
fourth.
it took me like 10 tries, only because, you get to the new phase and then die to whatever the new thing was doing and then redo it.
I feel like at least a fourth of my deaths came from the train boss specifically. Because I would always get up to like the very last part where you need to open the little grate when it's on all fours, and then you just I wouldn't be able to do it. I would fail. I would die.
The thing that got me on that was sometimes I would jump up too early and bounce off of it and then jump right into a fireball that was still falling down.
Oh, yeah. I eventually ended up beating it using like the super special where you can turn invincible for a little while.
Oh, really?
but then I used it, and then after I used it, it didn't actually hit any bullets or anything. So it's like just the comfort of knowing I was invincible made me relaxed enough to beat it, but I didn't actually need to be invincible in any way.
Interesting. I've only ever used the like mega shot thing. It's like and I use it quite a lot going through there because like I can use it on the first guy on the train specifically. Use it on the first part of it, and it would charge by the time you got to the third with the two things on each side. And then I would use the super shot, and it would just kill both of them. And then I could go on to the final guy without having to really fight that too much.
Yeah, that makes sense. I really like the super special where it's like the guy who's doing the tornado arms, and you kind of like navigate him around. Do you have that one?
Oh yeah, the third one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got all those.
Yeah, he was pretty. He seems really strong if you can keep him on the screen. And it's interesting that you have to control your movements so that he has to stay on the screen, which changes the way that you would otherwise play in the bosses. So I thought that was a cool ability. They did a good job making all of the super abilities like unique and like good in their own ways, rather than just an upgrade to one another.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah,
I'm hoping to get through that like by the end of the weekend. I might finish it then. But yeah, other than those two, I went back and finally finished 2064 read-only memories. I was apparently only like an hour of gameplay away from the end of that game. It's a pretty short game overall, but I had just kind of slacked on finishing it, so I just decided to sit down and do that, and it was good. I think I got like the good ending, with all of the like the happy go, you're friends with everybody and your plant didn't die and whatever else. So if I want to get like the other endings, I'm gonna have to go and be mean to everybody.
Oh no.
Yeah, make the little robot sad, hate me and stuff. Don't talk to my plant so it dies.
No.
All of that kind of stuff. So I don't know if I'll get back to doing that, but there's also an achievement on that one where it's like, play through the whole game in one sitting with no saves or continues. Oh, it's gonna be rough if they don't have a text skip option.
I'm not a fan of achievements tied to
endurance.
Yeah, like a marathon session.
Yeah.
I like it in the original Resident Evils had unlockables for based on your rating, which included how many times you had saved. And in those games, it was interesting because it was kind of like, how far can you go before you feel like you have to save? Like, how long can you be facing the potential of death before you need to kind of create a manual checkpoint? But when it's just like, you got to play this game for 18 hours, gotta go. I know you got to work, Steve. I don't care. You got to play my game if you want my Chivo.
Do it on the weekends.
Do it. I can't stay awake for that long video games. Come on now.
Yeah. It's not my favorite either. So that's why I don't know if I'll ever do that one. But like I said, if it's got like a super skip, like speed through all the text so you don't have to read anything, then the game's probably only like 2 hours long. So the only reason it took me a while is because I didn't know anything like going through it. So it was just like the first run through and then just reading everything. So already knowing all the dialogue, you could just safely just hold shift and skip through everything. Hopefully. I haven't actually loaded the game up on New Game Plus yet, so I assume since Valhalla has that this one has it as well. I guess I'll find out when I decide to go back and play it. And then outside of that, I've played Heroes of the Storm since the Halloween event is out. Gotta get them spooky skins and horses.
Dude, the horses aren't spooky, they're so good.
They are. because it's just it's a skeletal horse, but it has a drape like a just a sheet over the top of it, and it's carrying a pumpkin basket in its mouth. And
So good.
one of them is just a white sheet with a horse drawn on the side of it.
So good.
Yeah, it's great. Hopefully I'll be able to get a couple of those from the chests, or if not, just enough of the shards to be able to buy them. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got. Fire Emblem Warriors comes out tomorrow, so I'll be playing that tomorrow. But it's not here yet, so I can't play it. I guess I could have played it because I have the Japanese version sitting here, but I didn't want to.
I think a lot of games are either just coming out now or are going to be coming out, like Destiny 2 and Mario Odyssey and...
Well, Destiny 2 has been out on PS4, just saying.
Yeah, but I'm not playing it. I'm waiting for PC.
I'm playing it.
Then why don't you talk about it, Dan?
Because all it is, yep, I went and shot stuff. I did the thing. Actually, we did have a bit of an exciting run. Scott and my roommate and I did a quest in there, and the mission was you got this thing after like early on in the game, and you have to carry it around with you and do like public events with somebody else who also has that item in their inventory, and then do some dungeons with it with somebody with that item, and so on, and it kind of keeps building up. And the final step of it is you have to beat the timed difficult dungeon with 5 minutes left on the clock, which is harder said. It's actually pretty tough, even when we're like 50 power level above the mission. You kind of have to get lucky with what the spawns are, because it kind of rotates every week. The dungeon rotates, and every one of them always has a bonus of do this thing and get extra time, like kill enemies or shoot the little blocks and get extra time, and so on and so forth. And then some detriment to your health, whether it be you don't heal unless you pick up an item that's dropped by enemies, or you can only heal when you're running, and such things. But we, after like 5 or so attempts last week, we managed to do it, like Sunday, with last week's roll. So that was pretty exciting. And the gun is called the Rat King, and it has a bunch of rats on it. And, the back of it has a giant rat head, and when you're near somebody else that also has the Rat King, the head lights on fire, like the eyes start smoking, and it gets a damage boost. So it's pretty cool.
That is cool. I like that they did that.
Yeah. And then I have one to like do the dungeon, like the raid, but I haven't done the raid at all yet. Maybe someday, but I need to find more friends to do that with then. If only you had it on PS4. You could be in our Belmont clan.
Nah, I'm getting it for PC.
Nick, you have it, don't you? On PS4?
I do. I should join your Belmont clan.
You should join our Belmont clan. Did Nick, I thought Scott, I thought Scott invited you, but maybe he didn't.
He might have. My like bonus month ran out like a few days ago, so I'm gonna have to resubscribe. But
PSN thing, yeah.
Yeah, but I was gonna do that anyway. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, you should help us help us grind out that clan experience. Get them sick bonuses.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of all I got. So, well, who's next? Nick? I think you get to go next.
It's my turn? Oh. So I haven't been playing a ton. Like I just mentioned, my Destiny 2 time ran out, so I haven't played that in like a week or so. And the last thing I did, I haven't really done anything with other players. Got like I don't know what you call them, but there was like a quest item to go do a bunch of kills with a the fancy hand cannon.
Oh yeah, I had that
and-
one.
Yeah, and then the reward was another hand cannon.
The fancy one's a sidearm. There's a difference, okay?
Oh, the one, like the kinetic one.
The golden gun is a sidearm.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, that's true. It's a shame that you can't actually like dually them.
Yeah,
But-
the closest you can get is by just swapping constantly because they fill each other up.
hmm And that's kind of a cool perk that they like
Yeah,
have that synergy. Because what did the energy one like fills the clip of the kinetic weapon and
yeah. That's the interesting thing too. Is the energy one fills the clip of the kinetic one, like actually gives you ammo for it to fill it. The other way around, the hand cannon only reloads the other one, so it takes it out of your like reserve and reloads the gun while it's in the holster.
weird.
Yeah,
Still cool. Though.
I was noticing that. I was like, oh, it's just reloading the gun for me. It's not actually giving me ammo. Because I was like, why do I keep running out of ammo? I thought this was supposed to be infinite ammo.
It's saving you those frames.
Yeah.
And the like final quest that you have to do, I wasn't able to do that by myself. Like I still did enough to like complete the quest, but there was like a boss at the same time that apparently wasn't required for the item.
Was that the one that was that's the I forget. That's the one where you have to go do the Exodus crash mission, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. You only had to kill the servitor, and that final boss is really hard to kill by yourself.
Yeah, he like cloaks and then
Yeah.
like
He
spawns
runs-
a bunch of guys all the time.
Yeah, it's really hard. So I tried to do it too because I was over leveled for it at the time, and he still beat me like easily. I was like, well, all right, guess I'm just gonna leave because you don't have to actually finish the dungeon, thankfully.
hmm
So, did you get the Mida mini tool or whatever, the scout rifle?
I don't think so. I'd have to look again. It does
You
sound
get that
familiar.
you get that from doing the final quest on Earth. After you beat the story mission, there's like the bonus missions on each planet, and the one on Earth gets you the scout rifle.
I don't think I've done any of those. I should do that.
Yeah, you should definitely do that because each one gives you a gun. I think the Rat King is from one of those too, the Rat King quest.
Hmm.
So
I love me some quests.
they are fun to do. They do take up inventory space though.
I haven't like run out yet. I've been
The only one I was close on for a while was the power weapons, just because you carry so many different ones.
I try to only keep like the one of each.
Yeah, you try to keep one of each power weapon, and you have like 6 of them.
Yeah.
So there's still not a whole lot of room when you only have 9 slots, 10 if you include what you have equipped.
hmm Well, like up until this point in the game too, like since I haven't done a lot of like the post game or whatever, the jumps in power are significant enough where I'll like be like, why do I still have this 100 power grenade launcher when I have like a 250 power rocket launcher?
Oh, make sure you keep scout rifles, because you have to dismantle scout rifles for that scout rifle quest. I think
Weird.
5 of them. Blue or better. So just keep any blue or higher scout rifles.
Okay. Good looking out. So that's been my Destiny time. Otherwise, I've played a little bit more of the first Persona, the PSP port. I was like stuck in kind of a castle that had a lot of different routes you could go. And so I eventually was just like, I just kind of want to get through this castle, and I looked for the path through. Just because I hadn't played that in a while, and I wanted to like get back in without being in a frustrating spot. So
Yeah.
So that got me going again. And now I'm in a spooky mansion. with ghosts.
Oh.
It's still a fun game, just pretty basic RPG. But it's got like the good Persona music still, and I don't know how much of they redid in the PSP version, if they like changed anything, but
I'm sure you could find that out somewhere. I always kind of meant to like play those, but I never really got around to it.
One neat thing that I found out when I was reading through the like walkthrough was, there's a point in the game where not too terribly far in, maybe like a quarter of the way in, where you have to kind of pick where you're going, and the game kind of nudges you towards what is considered like the main quest. Go find the bad guy and chase him down. But there apparently is another route you can go that is called like the Snow Queen quest or something. And if you choose to go that route, that's the route you go. You don't do the main quest. You do that one. And apparently it's like quite a bit harder. The dungeons have much stronger monsters.
Oh.
Some of the dungeons are timed, whereas none of the dungeons I've done so far have any sort of timer on them or anything.
Oh, interesting.
Like a guide said there's like an extra like 4 to 8 hours worth of gameplay by doing that other quest line. So like it'd be an interesting thing to do if I ever like went back to play it again. Had I known, I would have like kept a save file at the branch point. Because I guess that's the only way you can really do that efficiently. So I thought that was, and that was something they took out, or it was part of the like original Japanese game, and then they thought it was too hard, so they cut it out of the PS1 release in America, and then they put it back in for the PSP version.
Oh, okay.
And what else have I been playing? Secret of Mana. I've been playing that with Scott on the mini Super Nintendo thing. That's been a fun game. I think they're out of like the 8 temples and elements or whatever you're chasing down. I think we've done like 5 of them. There's like, I think there's 8 elements, and you have to like go around and find the mana seed and like unlock its power. And so we've done 5 of those. That's been just playing a classic SNES RPG is a good time.
It sure is.
And then the last thing I think I've been playing is a while back had been playing Rebel Galaxy, and I just kind of had put it down and hadn't touched it for a while, and I picked that up the other day and started playing through that again, and the game started getting hard again because my tiny little spaceship is too weak. And so I finally saved up enough money to buy like a big beefy destroyer that has lots of turrets and guns on it. And the only bad part is it feels really slow. Like you can't like zoom around. Yeah. So and it's like probably a mid-sized ship. There's still ones that are like much bigger than me that I've seen. So, I've been enjoying that quite a bit. It like scratches a very specific itch. I've got a thing for sci-fi and space adventures.
That's interesting, because like when I played that game, I played it for a while, and then I was like, I'm just flying through space. Now I'm flying through this other system's space.
Space.
It didn't change enough for me to like really stick with it.
That's probably my biggest complaint is there's not a lot of variety. All the quests are kind of the same. You fly into an asteroid field and shoot some ships, and then you go back.
Yeah.
But the progression of like getting new guns and the ships has been like the fun part for me.
It's very good at what it does, though.
Mm-hmm. And I think like when I first started playing that, you messaged me and you're like, the music in that game is so good.
It's so good.
Because it's all like twangy country and
It's like space hillbilly music.
yeah. And it just fits so well.
Like you're a space trucker.
Or a cowboy.
Cowboy works.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah, and like if I don't remember how much I think I got it in a humble bundle, so I didn't end up paying a lot for it. And I think it's also I just have it on Steam, but I think you can get it on the PS4 too.
Yeah, I have it for PS4.
And I noticed like on the startup screen on the PC they like recommend you play with a controller, which I thought was weird at first. But then I started playing it just on my TV with my Steam controller, and that's like more fun. It's a little more immersive. But I think that's about it for me. Who's up next? Or was I the last?
You were second.
Second.
We did not go through every video game. Believe it or not. You get to pick. You get to decide.
Let's go with Noah.
Alright, let's pull up my notepad filled with many, many games.
It's like 2 games.
Delivering on those promises.
You guys made it really easy. I played 3 games. I'll go with the games I've played the least amount of time of. The first one would be Bear With Me, which looks like a point-and-click adventure game where you solve crimes as a little girl in a noir setting with your teddy bear.
Wait. This sounds like a Steve game. Where'd you find this game?
It is on Steam, and I think it's episodic. I think I only have the first episode, but when I bought it, it just said I was getting the game, so I'm not really sure if I have all the episodes or not. But I played a little bit of it, and it's very, very noir, very story-driven, very, like, impactful cutscenes and comic book style situations like that. The narration plays a heavy part. I haven't played it much. I tried it out for like 20 minutes, but I'm pretty pumped to play it. I just wanted to see kind of how it played.
There's a stuffed bear that looks like he might be a politician in all of the screenshots.
I think he's a detective.
He's very stern. He is. He may never have laughed a day in his life.
When you first meet him, he's like, "We're doing this thing again where I pretend like I'm never gonna help her out again, but then I cave because I'm her teddy bear, or whatever." Pretty good. I'm pretty pumped to play that one. I finally finished Octodad, Dadliest Catch. Much shorter than I thought it was gonna be. The first time I played through it, I played up to the aquarium, and then I don't know what happened, but I just stopped playing it. But like, the aquarium is the end, I think. Spoilers. Like, I think it ends in the aquarium, like in the cafeteria. It's pretty cool. I think you actually talked about it a long time ago.
Yeah, Octodad is good. The aquarium isn't super far away from the end of the game. You can tell that game was smart about having a certain number of ideas and then just calling it after that point. They didn't want to. It's like all their YouTube laughs. They were good to go.
Yep. It's good. I recommend it to everybody. I didn't get all the things and unlock all the secrets, but I definitely beat that game. I don't think I'm ever going to go back and collect all the things either. I also played a little bit of Cuphead. As you guys were talking about it, I'm like, this is spoilers. I only beat the first island, but I'm playing it with my brother, so it's hard for us both to have the same time to play games because he works the night shift and I work second shift. So like I'll be sleeping while he's working, and then I'll work while he's sleeping, and then he goes to work while I'm awake. It's really hard to get together and actually play the game. And my weapons of choice would be spread shot and roundabout. Those are the two I go with.
Yeah, roundabout's the boomerang one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I used those two for a while, and then I replaced the boomerang one with the charge beam.
Is it good enough to actually be worth it?
Depends on the fight you're on, I think.
Yeah, usually I'm like the last fight we did was the slot machine, and I was just like
the frogs.
The frogs, yeah. So like even if I missed one of the frogs, the other boomerang would hit the other one. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just picked up the charge shot, but I have not used it yet. I think we saved and quit right after I bought it, so I don't know anything about it. But that game is good. I'm gonna play more of that.
That game's so good. Good for them. I'm happy they made a great game.
Yeah. I've yet to see any issues with it at all. It's just pretty fun. Another game I haven't played yet, but is like on my list of games to be played, is Doki Doki Literature Club, which I think was free on Steam.
Now this sounds like a Noah game.
It is a visual novel about girls in a literature club. And I've played none of it. I just saw it on Steam for free, and I was hearing things about it. So I was like, I'm going to try it out. So at some point, I'm going to try it out. And my uncle asked me if it was worth playing, and I was like, I haven't played it yet. And he's like, I got all these Sakura and Nekopara visual novels. And I was like, I haven't played any of them yet.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, this is a weird
Who is
thing.
your uncle?
This is a weird thing for my uncle to talk to me about.
I would be amazed if anyone in my family even said the words Doki Doki.
He actually gifted me Deep Space Waifu, which is really weird.
Oh boy.
You got a weird relationship with your uncle.
He is very cool.
Doesn't sound it.
Oh, he is. I rarely talk to him, but he's a pretty cool dude. But yeah, that's that's another game that I want to play.
That game sounds like the type of game that I would put on my wish list when I saw it randomly suggested to me on Steam.
It's free.
And then 3 years later, I would see it on my wish list and be like, oh, I don't actually want that. Never mind. And just take it off and never have purchased it.
No, it's pretty cool. It's one of the few visual novels I actually want to play. Because usually they're all like adult themed, nudity, whatever, and I don't particularly care unless it's really good. But yeah, that one actually looks good.
Yeah, let me know how it is. I don't mean to actually like legitimately dump on the game. It could be a good game. It just seems like maybe it has a little bit of an uphill battle to climb.
Probably. Another game I've been playing is Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. This is one of those games where I start it up and I don't ever finish it. This is like number 4 of me going through Tactics Advance.
Man, I crushed that game so hard. I did every single mission except for one because it never showed up.
Oh. I don't know what it is about this one, but I just can't really get into it.
And it took me, I think, 3 times to get through it before I made it all the way through myself.
So I'm probably close to actually sitting down and beating it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a tactics game, but I don't like the law system where they're like, you can't do this. But what if that's what I want to do? So in order to manipulate the laws, I just move around on the map more. And it feels gross.
Yeah, the law system was something, but you can find a way to break it pretty quickly for yourself. I'm pretty sure.
Mm. Oh my god, I just had a brain fart. I don't know what I was gonna say. Oh, I'm reading a guide in order to get the best world map set up or whatever.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that I screwed that up, and that might be why that one quest never showed up for me.
Because apparently there is a way to make a perfect world. So like, if you have to go somewhere new, they let you put it on this map in like any place you want. But there is a best place for everything where you get treasures and stuff, which is really weird. And
Can you redo it if you mess it up?
Nope.
Boo.
Yeah.
Boo.
But you don't know that you're messing it up, but there just is a best thing to do. Like certain towns are supposed to go in a certain spot next to forests or something, and they don't really give you a good indication of where it should go.
Yeah, I don't remember there being like an easy like, oh yeah, this is how you do that. This is where it needs to go.
They're just
I just kind of plopped them on the map.
Yeah, they're just like, put them wherever, and sometimes you'll get treasures or whatever. But there is a specific place to put them. But I've been playing that on the Wii U Virtual Console. Not actual Game Boy Advance or anything. Which I think that's what that was for, right?
Correct. Yeah. Fun fact, my Game Boy Advance cart of that game went through the wash, and it still works fine.
It's just cleaner.
Mm-hmm. It still has the like the label on it too. Didn't come off.
Alright, another game I've been playing sort of is Valkyria Chronicles. I am having a hard time playing that game. Because, like, I want to record it for the YouTube thing, but at the same time, they are very long episodes with a lot of cutscene and barely any fight.
It is a very cutscene heavy game at times.
And the last episode I did was like 40 minutes, and I lost the battle, so it's really depressing.
Well, at least you can skip the cutscenes.
Yeah. I'll probably do what I did with episode 2, where spoilers for anyone who cares, I just record the last couple of winning turns for that battle, instead of going through the whole thing again. Yeah, they didn't really give me a good, like, you should maybe pick this type of character and not this type of character. Because I picked snipers and I was going up against, like, multiple tanks. But they didn't tell me about all these tanks.
Yeah.
So, I didn't bring any Lancers, which is maybe a problem.
Yeah, I think that is very much your problem. You need to balance out your squad, yo.
Yeah, but I'm the kind of guy that doesn't pick things based on the optimum situation. I pick them based on cute waifu girls.
I mean, I did that too, and I think I still had a pretty balanced team. I just had like 1 or 2 Lancers.
Did you pick the dude with the pompadour?
I think he was one of them. It's been a long time since I played that, so I'd have to look up the characters, and I could probably tell you.
Yeah, because I know they all have different likes and dislikes and things that they do and stuff like that. But I just pick them based on who I like.
Yeah, I didn't really take that into account too much when I was picking my units. I also just kind of picked everybody. I didn't really use snipers that much because scouts were OP AF when they level up. They're basically snipers once you level them up enough.
Oh, I haven't reached that point. Mine all die instantly. They're like level 3 or something. So.
Yeah. Like it takes a little bit to get that far, but once you do, their range and accuracy is good enough that they can just snipe people from pretty fair distance away.
Well, I'll keep that in mind. most of my favorite people are scouts anyway. But yeah, if you want to watch that, go to youtube.com/videogamernornz.com. You get to watch a happy little series about that. But another game I've been playing is Sleeping Doge, the definitive edition. It's a pretty good game. It's about, it's essentially a Hong Kong GTA. You play an undercover cop in, I think it's Hong Kong. And you're trying to take down the gangs or whatever from the inside. It's just pretty fun GTA style game.
I was gonna say, I'm sure it plays a bit closer to the Yakuza games.
Maybe. I've not played them, so I can't really compare them.
I mean, I haven't played Sleeping Dogs. Well, I haven't played either one of them, but I've watched Dave play a lot of Yakuza, so
I haven't, but I definitely
familiar
want
with
to.
its gameplay. Yeah, I pre-ordered the remake of the first one. I think it is. That's the one that came out recently. Maybe it's whatever the next one is. I pre-ordered it, and I'll probably borrow the other ones from Dave and give him a run through before at least the remake of the first one, before I play that one.
I would say it's close to GTA, but then when it gets to combat, it switches over to like the Batman Arkham series.
Oh, okay.
Where like you
Dodging
counter
and stuff.
Which is not bad. So
Yakuza 6, that's the one I pre-ordered.
I don't know, fun game. I played it. Some other people should play it. I don't remember where I got it. Like, there's a bunch of games on my Steam account that I just look at, and I'm like, I don't remember buying this in February. I don't think I bought it this in February. But I did. So, whatever. But the game I've been really wanting to talk about is South Park: The Fractured But Whole. It came out 2 days ago, I think.
Yeah,
17th.
That sounds about right.
Pretty good game. It was $60, which was painful to throw down. But when you buy it, they also give you the Stick of Truth, which I think makes it entirely worth it.
But I already had Stick of Truth.
Sorry.
Do I get a discount?
I don't think so. Yeah. The game, did you ever beat Stick of Truth?
Yeah, I finished it.
I liked that game.
It was pretty good, yeah. I liked it for what it was. I went into it expecting something lighthearted and whatnot, and it basically was. It had a decent enough, like, combat system, too. Like, it was still entertaining all the way through the game. I just kept rotating my people.
I would say The Fractured But Whole is much better in the combat regard.
Okay.
Because it's a turn-based grid system.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of the moves are... they also apply status effects like burning or shock. And you have a lot of push and pull moves, and swaps and invisibilities. And each character plays very differently than each other, but they're all pretty good. Like,
Gee, Steve, that sounds familiar, doesn't it? The grid
Yeah.
combat with pushing guys around. And...
Sure does. Sure sounds like a great game that might get remade.
You mean that is being remade?
Well, I don't know, maybe.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
anyway. I don't know, it's a fun game. I was looking forward to this one for a while. I'm not like the hugest South Park fan, but it's still like a fun game, and it feels like you are playing in like a series of South Park episodes. And it's pretty good. They brought back farts. They call
Good,
you
good.
Fart Lord or Fart Boy or Butt Lord. In the Stick of Truth, they called you Douchebag. But in this one, you get superhero names. I don't want to spoil it too much, but I did fight Jared Fogle, the Subway
Subway
sandwich guy.
Yep.
It's pretty good. I got to make a critical decision on, like, so we beat him up, and then he's like, the reason I like kids is because I never had a childhood of my own, right? Yeah, that's it. And then you get to choose whether to spare him or fart in his face, and I farted in his face. It's pretty good.
Good man.
Steve, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say that I saw the only thing I know about the game really is that I saw a 30-second clip of a special attack that Tweak and Craig
It's
do
so
together,
good.
and it's unbelievable. It's so good. It makes me want to play the game on that ground alone.
I know I'm gonna spoil a lot here, but they start the game broken up, and like I think Craig gets his own special because you start with him, but then you take them to counseling and they get back together, and then that's how you unlock that ability. It's really good.
I like that a lot.
I would say, like, I'm not done yet. I've put about 14 hours into it. I would say for $60, and if you haven't played the first game, I would say it's worth it. Because you're probably getting them at least 30 hours out of it. Because you're gonna get both games. But yeah, it's... I was talking to Steve a few days ago, maybe 4 or 5, where, like, I have not played games really at all. Like, I kind of sort of play them, but I'd watch, like, reruns of TV shows I've already seen, and I just haven't been into them. But South Park, I will come home and I'll load up and I'll just throw on the headphones and I'll play it, and it's good. So that's pretty much what I've been playing. And now that I've done that, I'm pretty pumped to play some spooky games, but we'll do that after we talk to Steve.
I honestly didn't play a whole lot. I also finished up Cuphead. I don't know if I need to say anything more on that because it's a really, really good game. I played all the way through for the second time Undertale. I don't think I talked about this last time.
No.
Played through Undertale again for the second time because the Vita release came out. And, dude, Undertale is still just so good. Like, every time I see that game or play that game, I'm surprised that it like still lives up to expectations that I have for the game and like other people have for the game. It's just so funny and the music is so good and the battle system is so fun. I know it's a stereotype and like everyone in the world already says this with even more passion, but Undertale's a good game.
Is it? I don't know. I've heard that it's a good game, but is it a great game?
I would classify it as one of the great video games.
Oh, okay.
If I was to make a must-play before you die list of 100 or 1,000 games or something, I would almost certainly put Undertale on that list. But I had actually never gotten like the true ending or one of the true endings, I guess. And so on the Vita release, I went through and I got that true ending finally. And I also got the platinum because the trophies in the Vita release are hilarious. Half of the trophies, they added this thing called like the dog shrine where you can donate 1 gold to a dog. And there are 15 trophies tied to donating money to this dog up to 350 gold. So you have to do it 350 times in a row.
Gosh.
And every like it's like a Japanese shrine like for like deceased people or something like that with a little donation box, and you drop 1 gold in, and every so often it'll say, "Oh, the box is full of coins. You can't donate anymore." And if you leave and come back, the dog that you never actually see will have invested your money in something for the shrine that is like worthless and dumb. So like you'll donate 10 gold and you'll leave and come back, and there'll be like one of those like wavy armed tube men outside of used car dealerships next to the shrine, and then you'll leave and come back again 20 gold later, and it'll just be like a small piece of rope on the ground, and it's like it's too small to even have fun with. So half of the trophies are that, and the other half, and these are the ones that you get right away in the game, and it made me laugh really hard. The first trophy you get is for getting any item, for getting an item, and the trophy title is "Don't worry, I have lots of ideas for trophies." And then for getting 2 items, the next trophy is like getting items, and for 3 items, it's or getting even more items. And then when you get your 4th item, and this all happens in the first like 5 minutes of the game, you get the trophy that says, "Uh-oh, I'm already out of ideas for trophies." And then the rest of them are all the dog shrine and like a couple get to this area. So you get the platinum like 2/3 of the way through playing through the game for the first time. So for anyone that cares about that, go for it. But yeah, Undertale's very good, and the Vita release is a good release of it, so play it however you can. Other than that, I've kind of just been like playing random games, sort of killing time until Mario Odyssey, because I'm really anticipating Mario Odyssey. But I did pick up and play Raiden 5. So it's the next Raiden game in the Raiden series of vertical scrolling shooters.
It's after 4.
It's actually after Raiden Fighters Aces. Thank you very much. But I mean, it's a Raiden game. It's a shooter. It's kind of Nick can vouch for me. It's a good game, but like the screen is full of information constantly. Like they're constantly talking to you, and since it's vertical, it's like vertically letterboxed, so the left and right sides of the screen don't have actual gameplay on it. And there's tons of like maps and charts and like little tiny scrolling text, and like you would never be able to actually read this while you're playing this game. I don't understand why they put all this information on the sides.
It seems like they do that in a lot of shmups where there'll be like people talking and text and all sorts of stuff on the screen, even though the games are so intense. You're not looking anywhere else.
It's like they're trying to distract you as part of the challenge, I guess.
Crazy.
But you can't distract Steve. Yeah. So I mean, I played through that once with a bunch of continues because I'm not actually good enough to play through it otherwise, and it was pretty fun. Released onto PS4. It's got good music too. I also played the remake of Wonder Boy, the Dragon's Trap, Wonder Boy 3. So this came out on PS4, and it's a remake of the Master System game of the same name. So it's a remake of a really old game, and it's actually a pretty cool game. The concept or the story of the game is you're like just this hero kid, and you get cursed by a dragon that like forces you to stay in a dragon form. So then you start running around as a dragon, and then eventually you start finding other forms that you can transform into. So you find like the form of a mouse and the form of a hawk and stuff like that.
Are you the Wonder Twins?
You're not the Wonder Twins. You're just the Wonder Boy or the Wonder Girl if you want to be the Wonder Girl. And it plays kind of like, I don't know. It's like, I guess kind of like Castlevania 2. I don't really want to call it like a Castleroid. Like it's not fully Metroid-y, but it is kind of, there's a central town and you can go to certain areas, and once you find certain transformations, it will let you get into other areas that you couldn't get into before. But it's not like there's tons of locks and dead ends and upgrades and stuff to find. So it's kind of like a really, really primitive version of that. But it's really good. The remake is all hand-drawn art, and it's all beautiful hand-drawn art. And at any time you can click like the right bumper to switch between the 8-bit Sega Master System graphics and the new redrawn art. So sometimes it's really funny to switch to the Master System graphics and see that this was like a plain stone wall in the background, and then switch to the new hand-drawn graphics, and it's like this beautiful castle with this like enormous 200-foot statue that has collapsed into the water, and like a million tiny details all surrounding the environment. And then you switch back to Master System, and again, it's just a brick pattern. So they definitely put effort into this game. A couple parts that are not that intuitive. I think once or twice I did have to look up what to do. But it wasn't that long, and it was definitely pretty fun. It was a cool game. I'd recommend either. Honestly, I would recommend this version or the original Master System version. The Master System version, if it's identical to the one that I played, by switching the graphics, it would hold up really well. So definitely worth checking out. And yeah. And then lastly, I haven't played much of it, but I did start Recore on the Xbox One because I wanted to start a new game that would not be like a huge commitment while I wait for Mario to come around. And so far, Recore seems cool. It's like an open world, I don't know, third-person shooter, kind of. I don't know, Nick, how did you describe it? You had a comparison that I thought was pretty accurate.
It was kind of part Metroid Prime because the director, like was from Retro Studios, and scanning stuff, and like you had that like grapple beam.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of Metroid Prime meets Ratchet and Clank. It was kind of the
that's what I said.
It was like co-developed by like 3 studios, but one of the studios was the head producer, technical director, and art director from Retro Studios after they made Metroid Prime 3 left and then made this game. So I mean, it's not a Metroid game. It's much more like in the vein of modern open world games where there's a bunch of icons on the map that you go poke around and see what's happening at. But it's got pretty cool, like Ratchet and Clanky kind of like future, almost like Borderlands-y in a way too, kind of like future desolate art direction, and plays pretty well too. So I'm looking forward to seeing where else Recore goes. And that game, they did a cool thing where they released like the definitive edition, like every game does. But if you purchased the original game at any point, you automatically got the definitive edition as a download. So when I popped it in, it just started downloading the definitive edition, which I thought was pretty cool. And I think that's all of the video games that I have played. What else we got going on? Noah, are you thinking spooky?
I'm thinking spooky, but also I'm thinking of what we should do next time on the podcast, which is everyone come up with a list of either 10 or 20 must play before you die games. I don't think we'll go with 100 or 1,000 like you said, but
I would be interested to see how many of our must play before you die games line up without us talking. So yeah, I think that'll be fun. I will definitely do that.
How much do you guys want to do? 10 or 20?
Give me 20. I need 20 because there'll be too many games to list. I don't know. Maybe that sounds like a lot of work to these boys, but
I'm sure I could fit that many games on a list.
There's 20 East games, right?
I'm not that big of a fan. They're good, but I don't think that much.
There's 5 Personas.
I'm not Tyler. That's true, but I haven't played all of them.
All I have left is Baldur's Gate 2 and Icewind Dale. Come on.
There's only one Hearthstone.
Want to talk about some spooky games?
Always.
So normally I'm not a spooky games guy. And I feel really gross for always bringing up my YouTube channel on this podcast. But I did 3 episodes of Amnesia once. And I might try to do one or two more this year, and eventually by 2036 I'll have finished Amnesia: The Dark Descent. So I think I'm gonna try that.
Dude, I am still of the belief that Amnesia, the first Amnesia, the Dark Descent, is the scariest game that I have ever played. I've never been as scared as I was playing that game. It's so good.
Oh, so scary. And I think, I don't know if this was actually in the last podcast or right after we cut it. I told Nick about Outlast being free on the Humble Bundle. So I might be playing Outlast. I also have Dead Space, which is supposed to be a spooky game. And a game I actually bought. It was a game on my wish list. Yomawari Night Alone. I'm looking forward to playing.
That's an interesting game. I think you'll like that game.
I probably will. I'm pretty pumped to play it. Those are the only ones I know I have and will maybe play. What about you guys? You guys have any spooky games you want to be playing? Or people should play?
In terms of ones that like I plan on playing for the holiday season here, not a whole lot. I think it's like it's Japanese or a Korean horror game. It's called White Day. I think it's a labyrinth named School.
Oh yeah, I was watching somebody play that game.
It seems like the kind of game that is going to be like cheesy bad and not actually really scary. But I don't know a whole lot about it. It seemed pretty cool, and so I picked that up a while ago, and I haven't popped it in yet. But that's kind of probably going to be the main spooky game that I would play in honor of Halloween. If I can find some time here. That Yomawari game is good. It's pretty short too, and it's not like super scary. I mean, there's a couple like jump scares, I guess, but it's definitely interesting and definitely has an atmosphere to it. So
I figured it was just going to be a slightly spooky game with maybe ghosts and stuff, but not really horror.
yeah, it's a game in a spooky setting, but it's not really a scary game, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I think White Day might be the only one that I'm really planning to play for this Halloween. I can't think of anything else. I mean, there's tons of other survival horror games that I would recommend people play, but I don't know how much you want to get into like just how good all the survival horror games in the world are.
I'd like to hear some. I'm mostly looking for recommendations.
I mean, I don't really have that many because it's not a genre I go for most of the time. So like, the only one that I own really is Dead Space. So Dead Space 1 and 2 highly recommended. 3 can go die.
I haven't played 2 yet, but Dead Space 1 is definitely that's a legit game. That is quite good.
2 is also amazing, but 3 was we won't talk.
Didn't they start adding like loot boxes or something in 3 or like microtransactions?
They made it an action shooter game and not like a survival horror game. And it was multiplayer too. Like EA got their hands in there and fucked it all up. So that was not a good time. I was very sad when I played through that game.
Yeah, the original Dead Space was awesome. I remember how cool it was where when the game came out and you're like, oh my gosh, his health bar is on his suit. There's not even a HUD.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is amazing.
Good job with that. And then, oh god, I'm dying. There were definitely some spots in that one, like when I first, the very beginning when you like walk down one of those first hallways and you got the light behind you shining forward, and then the shadow runs behind you, and you're like, oh god, here we go.
I should play the second Dead Space. Dead Space sounds pretty good right now.
You guys talking about that, the first one? I remember watching you. I think you play it like when it first came out, and it looked really cool. But it's one of the many Steam games that are like burning a hole in my my library. And so Noah bring that up, and all you guys makes me think I should play it.
You should.
You should.
For sure.
Pretty sure that there's a Dead Space collection. But if you already have it on Steam, yeah, definitely play it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got a couple of games. I haven't played Amnesia yet at all. I also have Fear 2 and Fear 3.
I have all three of the Fear games, and I never made it through them. Never made it through the first one.
The first Fear is pretty good. I mean, it's like a competent, good shooter. It does a lot of the jump scare thing where you'll go down a hallway and you'll look right and there won't be anything there, and you'll look left and there won't be anything there, and then you look back right and suddenly, oh, there's a spooky girl standing there.
Yep.
And you're not expecting it, so it's mostly jump scares, but it helps that the game itself is still like, if you're in the mood for spooky and you are in the mood for a first person shooter, even if it's not like the best shooter of your life, Fear will be a good match for you. I can't speak to the other ones. I've never played the other ones.
I have 2, but not the first one, which is really weird.
I bought them all at the same time in a Steam bundle a while, but like a long time ago. I was playing on my old school laptop because it could actually run that.
Yeah, I think I got mine in like a humble bundle because I also I have 2 and 3 on Steam, but not the first one.
Have any of you heard of Bendy and the Ink Machine?
No, what's that?
It's a spooky game that is similar to Cuphead in it's a rubber hose type deal, sort of. It's based on an old 1950s cartoons or whatever, you know. And there's a character Bendy, and he's a spooky guy. And it's another game that's episodic, but I think Chapter 1 is free right now on Steam.
Sure is. I'm
And
looking at it right now.
I watched Markiplier play it, and it was spooky, and it looks really good. It looks like you would really like it, Steve.
All right, hang on now. What's the name of this game again? Spooky what now?
Bendy.
Spooky Bendy Strap?
You're a jerk. Bendy and the Ink Machine.
Ink Machine. Let's check this bad boy out. May not be appropriate for all ages. Well, good news. I'm an adult-ass man. Let's take a look here. Oh. Yeah, it is very cartoony.
I recommend playing it and then maybe buying the other 2 for $10. Chapter 2 and 3.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, maybe if I hit play game, is it going to just load the game?
No.
But I'll install it as a reminder to go try to check it out. First person puzzle action horror game that will forever ruin your childhood love of cartoons.
I doubt it.
Good
Probably
luck
not.
with that.
But could be cool. Alright. I will definitely check that out. That seems right in my wheelhouse. Okay. Cool. In terms of other scary game recommendations, I don't know, I feel bad because I know that most of my recommendations are going to be console games, and I know that you're really looking for something that you can play on Steam, but I mean, outside of Amnesia and Dead Space, I think Until Dawn is a really good horror game. I just played that for the first time last year, and
Yeah, I have that downloaded.
It was super good. I'm really looking forward to the next game that team puts out.
I think it was June or July's PlayStation Plus game, and I have it now.
It's been there. It's been a PlayStation Plus game more than once because Dave picked it up in January, February, I think, and then I just got it with the recent time it went up on free to play or free to add or whatever. So yeah, I haven't installed it or played it, but I have it in my library.
That's something. It's not long. You can get through it in 8 hours or something.
I've seen some spoilers already. I watched
Spoilers.
Sprinklers.
Sprinklers. No sprinklers on that donut. Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming you don't want like a Resident Evil or a Silent Hill game. Those recommendations are kind of obvious. Fatal Frame games are kind of obvious, although I will say that Fatal Frame 5, I don't think a lot of people have played, and Fatal Frame 5 was a very spooky game, so there's a good chance, even if you like Fatal Frame games, you haven't checked out 5. I think it's downloadable on the Wii U, and that one was probably the second scariest Fatal Frame game after 2. I think 2 is the scariest Fatal Frame game by far, but I was in like the right place and the right time and the right setting when I played 2 to maximize the spookiness, where I was able to have the volume really loud and my lights down and play it at night and stuff. So I was in an optimal settings for that game. But 2 is definitely the best Fatal Frame if anyone's interested in that series.
Yeah, I almost bought them when I was down in Kansas City that one time. I did buy them, but I bought them for Ken because he wanted them. I could have just bought them for myself.
You could have. That's true.
Oh well, my time will come eventually.
And then on the original Xbox, there's a pretty cool game called Call of Cthulhu.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of like a psychological horror. I think Call of Cthulhu might even be on PC. I don't know if it's on Steam. I can look real quick though.
I searched Call of and all I got was Duty. But yes, it's on Steam. Well, there's multiple versions of it on Steam. The Wasted Land, Prisoner of Ice, Dark Corners, Shadow of the Comet.
So the one on the Xbox and the one that I played is Call of Cthulhu: Dark Corners of the Earth.
Okay, that's on here. Well, I think they're all on here.
For $5.
Yep, they're all on here for $5.
Mm-hmm. It looks like an Xbox game. Like it looks old, but it's pretty good. Like you are in like an old, I don't know, like 1930s era village, and you're kind of doing like some adventure game puzzle solving type stuff. And then there's like creepy stuff that you come across, and weird stuff starts to happen, and it gets more and more, Cthulhu-ish as time goes on. So I never played all the way through it, so I can't speak to if it maintains its level of quality, but it was definitely cool in the first like 3 hours or something, which is what I played through. So probably not one that a lot of people have played through that I'd recommend.
Metro, man, I don't think those are really spooky though, but they get recommended when I look at these games.
Yeah.
You say Metro?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
2033 and whatnot.
They have spooky parts. I've played a good chunk of 2033. Those are like fun, really smooth shooters, but you're shooting at like sometimes just at other humans, but like the premise is the premise is like humans live in subway tunnels because top side is all messed up. So when you finally do go up outside of the subway tunnels, there's like monsters and like you fight like gargoyles and stuff. Like it's pretty cool. And you have to have like a gas mask and filters, and those can run out, and so there's like those collectibles that you have to manage to stay alive and everything. And like you have to, if your flashlight runs out, you have to like stop and like do a charge up thing to recharge your batteries. Yeah. I don't know. I think you can get replacement batteries, but there's like a like a manual crank that you can turn to recharge your thing.
Charge the flashlight.
Mm-hmm. And there's like I think like new definitive type editions of those out too. So I think during Steam sales you can pick them up for pretty cheap.
Yeah, there's like 2033 redo or redux. And same with
Last Light.
Last Light, yeah, that was the other one.
I guess those kind of have a very similar feel to those shooters that were on the PS3. What was that series? Resistance.
Oh, yeah, I didn't play any of those.
Those are fun.
Yeah, they were pretty good from what I remember seeing, but I didn't like that and Killzone. Like I didn't really get into the shooter games much.
Not really finding any more spooky games. I think about now, Don't Starve usually has a mod for a first person. Like, I think they made it. It's like a first person adventure, and you're running around at night in the dark trying to get out of the forest, and there's spooky jump scares.
What about Slenderman?
I don't have Slenderman. But yeah, if you have Don't Starve, check that out. I don't remember what it's called. Screecher, I think it's called, now that I see it.
Oh, the first person mode or whatever.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. It's like maybe 20 minutes. Spooky. Yeah, I also have Fear 3, Nick. You're right. I have Fear 2 and Fear 3.
We must have gotten the same bundle. I bet that's where Dead Space came in too.
It might
Probably. It was probably in like a spooky bundle. Or horror bundle or something.
Let me scroll down here. Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 are spooky games.
Yep, they got zombies. Super spooky.
It's very spooky.
Oh.
The spookiest.
Steve, do you have anything else?
No, I mean, there's a bunch of other spooky games across a bunch of various consoles, but not anything on Steam or on PC that you'd be able to download and play, I don't think. So I think we're pretty well covered there.
Alright. Do we have anything else to talk about? Is this just going to be a short video?
I think it is going to be short.
Nice and tight.
Alright, everyone. We'll talk to you next time when we have a list of top 20 must-play games before you're dead.
See ya.
Don't die during Halloween.
Spooky.